Hi, my name is Emily, and this is the Delight Knits podcast, episode 22. Today is January 7th of 2023, so Happy New Year. This is my first video and first podcast of the new year. I have not had an official podcast since the end of November, but I did do Vlogmas, and I hope you had a chance to watch all of those and see a whole bunch of my kids. That was fun. And it got a little repetitive at the end, which is why there's a little less video, but that's okay. So today I am going to talk to you about all that I've been knitting on for the last month. Some of it may be a little refresher or stuff that you've seen on Vlogmas if you did watch that. But I've got quite a bit of finished objects. A couple of them I do not have physically with me because they were gifts. And I also have a couple whips. So I will talk about a couple. So the first finished object was the half and half triangles wrap, which is I did as a baby blanket. I did it out of Lion Brand Heartland worsted, I think. But it was worsted weight. I will insert a picture probably about there. I did half of the triangle in the Grand Canyon colorway, and then the other half of the triangle was striped with the Grand Canyon and Rocky Mountain colorways. Check my notes. Yes. I did a little bit of modification. I didn't, of course it was worsted, I think there were patterns written for fingering. So I did not cast on as much. I just cast on until I thought the length was great. Didn't really have a number in mind. And then I slipped the first 2 stitches, I believe, of the row to be able to have a neater I-cord edge. So that worked out great. Gift recipient's parent loved it because she was just a couple weeks old when she was gifted it to her. So I was happy to have that done, and now I have one more baby blanket to make for a baby due in March. I do make a baby blanket for each of my nieces and nephews, and then my kids each have, no, my son doesn't have one, but he uses the one my daughter did because I have enough knitted stuff here. I also finished a pair of vanilla socks. I knit these as a gift for somebody in my family, and I'll insert a picture here. I knit these in like a little over a week. It's just vanilla socks. I have the leftover yarn to be able to show it to you. I knit it out of Barocco Comfort sock in the colorway 1827. They turned out great. It was the first pair of socks I had knit since September, so I definitely missed knitting socks. But yeah, with my vanilla socks, I cast on 64 stitches on a US 0, a 2mm. I do a 2x2 rib for 20 rounds, and then I knit a 50 row leg, a slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, and I believe I did 65 round foot. And then for the toe, I decrease every other round. I think on these I did differently than usual. I think I decreased every other round to like 12 stitches, and then Kitchener. I usually try to put those types, like all the number stuff, in my Ravelry project page, which links to everything. Like you can find me on Instagram at delight_knits. You can find me on Ravelry as Delight Knits, one word. My email, delightknits@gmail.com, will all be in the description box below, as well as all of that I talk about for the most part. Yeah, I always forget to say that. But all of my number information for my vanilla socks I do put in my Ravelry project pages, so that way, like if I knit a pair of socks for myself, I know, or in certain yarns I only have to do different row counts for the foot based on the length of my foot, obviously. So it helps me go back and see what I did. So that way I don't really have to measure. Just wing it. So that was that pair of socks. My next finished object was my Advent project. I opened up, I had two Advents, and I knit with one of them, and I knit the Find Your Fade out of my Fiber Fox Advent. So Find Your Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry. It's huge. I absolutely love this fade. I had the merino sock base from Joji and Ben. It's a 75-25 blend. But I used project notes from Made by Maddie, who is Maddie from We Share Needles. She knit a Find Your Fade out of an Advent at one point. And Georgie from the Fiber Fox also knit one, and I think Maddie might have followed her notes because they're identical. So there are two places you can look for those. I just mentioned that in mine because I don't want to take credit for it. Because that was a lot of math that they each did. But this is where the Advent started, and so I opened it up and knit on it every day. I did finish this the day after Christmas. I did not get the 25th color, but I absolutely loved this. This was my first Advent project of opening an Advent. I might have it backwards. It doesn't really matter. So this is gorgeous, and I absolutely loved it. If I could go back, I would switch the orders and start with the gold, because I feel like there's more. I don't know, that I would just switch the order because I like the green more, and I feel like the reds, and this side is my favorite, even though I still love it all. And I wish they were switched, just by the way it lays out on me and stuff. But that is that project, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, I knit it to pattern Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry, and Georgie and Ben, I don't know if they've closed it yet, but they did have their Advent up as a pre-order. And it's gorgeous and so worth it. Purchasing an Advent is a big amount, it's a lot of money, which is why this was my first one, and it was 100% worth it. And gorgeous. There's not really much else to say about it, I guess. But this is probably my favorite project of the year. My next finished object I finished this week, and this is my travel to work project, and it is a Musselburgh out of, I don't have it. It's Wonderluck Fibers in the Lilac Rainbow Tweed colorway. So you can see all that rainbow tweed goodness. I got this yarn at DFW Fiberfest. The pattern is Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. And I knit this, so this is the pattern, how you knit it. I knit the increases, weighed it, and it's about 10 grams, and then knit until I had 10 grams left. Chicken somewhere. So it's super long, and I like that. My husband kept saying, that's too long when I finished it. And he's like, oh, okay. So this is, it looks big, so I have my hair up, so you're not going to see it. But I'll fold it up, and there we go. So you can see my big bun in there. I think it turned out great. I did purchase this with the intentions of my daughter wearing it because her favorite color is purple. But she always picks out the dark purple, like the royal purple, instead of the light purples of all her shirts. So I'm not sure if she actually will wear this, which is why I knit an adult small, because it fits me, and she's got an adult size head anyways. So we bought her a bike for Christmas, and her helmet was a size, age 5 and up. and that was too small for her. So she's got an adult-sized head. She's a pretty big kid. But yeah, so this is that finished object, and my last one. I think it turned out great. I'm happy with it. I love this hat. I knit one in a burgundy color. Or what was it? Cabernet is the dye color. Oh, I've got a little friend now. Cabernet was the dye color because I dyed that yarn myself, and I love it. I wear it all the time. You will definitely be seeing more of this pattern from me in the future. So that's that. I've got a little friend here now. This is Tommy. You probably can't see him, which is fine. I've got 2 works in progress. One you haven't seen for a while, like a long while. And I pulled it back out. I'm gonna take this off. I've pulled it back out. I am holding this in my By the Bay Bagco bag. I think this is the El Grande size. It is awesome. I love her bags. Don't you get in my yarny bag. So I am knitting the Long Summer Cardigan by Hoagie Locatelli. I am using yarn from Ruby and Rose's yarn in the Twilight and Golden Hour colorways on her soft rose base. It's glorious. I'm knitting the 2nd size in the pattern. And this might be a little bit of a mess because I have started a sleeve. If you've watched in the past, you know that I like to knit my, finish 1 ball of yarn, or 2 balls if I'm alternating, and then start a sleeve and then come back to the body. So I've just decided I wanted to do a sleeve, but here it is. I have done the short rows on sleeve 1. Maybe I'll start sleeve 2 eventually. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, you about to get tossed out. Cats and yarn. Cats and yarn. He's got a little bobtail. I think he's our chicken cat. He stays with the chickens quite often. Well, his sister stays with the dogs, and she's the dog cat. But I don't know where the chickens are at right now. Okay, let me talk about my yarn without you getting into it. So, I have knit, so I was saying I finished the short rows on the sleeve, and I will probably pick up this other sleeve this week. I was left off, let's put it on backwards to make it easy to talk about, maybe. Hey, no sir. I left off here in like September when I last showed you. Quit. When I last showed you. And I've knit quite a bit since then. Twisted ribbing stuff is. Cat. You're about to get tossed. See if I put my bag on the other side. That'll help. Okay. Except for my cords. I knit quite a bit since then. This is marking, I was marking how much I did like each day because, so we went to Dallas to spend Christmas with my family, and then we went to Houston. So we had lots of car rides, and I knit this after I finished my shawl. And so I did a lot, and it was nice. This twisted ribbing takes a long time, but I'm loving this. I was questioning the colors for a little bit and then decided I was going to keep going instead of ripping it out. And I think I will wear it still. I like it. So yeah, it's gotten quite a bit of work. I don't know how long I will do this in. So Hoagie's original goes down to like the back of her knees, and I don't think I want to make it that long. So I had 4 skeins of the Golden Hour and 2 of the Twilight. I definitely won't need 2 of the Twilight, so I'll have 1 left over of that. and then I may see how far I can get with just 3 skeins of the golden hour, which is kind of why I'm doing my sleeves first, or sleeves now. So I'll do my sleeves and then finish out the body. I'm not alternating colors because the twilight or alternating skeins because the twilight should break it up. I don't think you can even tell where I changed skeins down here, because I did add in my second one at some point. But it's gorgeous, it's super soft, and I'm happy to be working on this again. We'll see if I can get it finished here in the next month or so, because I really want to cast on a few other things. But I'm trying to get back to being a monogamous knitter where I have my one big project and then I have a small project, which I will get out to show you. So I'm knitting this 2 pattern on the second one, like needle sizes and all. I think that's that for that one. My other work in progress, I needed another small project after my Musselburgh was finished. This is in my other By the Bay bag. By the Bay. This one says Yarn Co. So I guess this is By the Bay Bag Co. now, but this was an old tag. And I got this on sale at DFW Fiberfest. I think I got it for $10. Sock sack size, perfect for 1 skein projects. I had my Musselburgh in it. Drawstring, and it's got pockets on the inside. The Grande has 4 small pockets on the outside and 2 big pockets on the inside as well. So this is another vanilla sock. I am in the middle of the gusset decreases now, but you can see all of my stitch markers doing every 10 rounds. Yeah, so this is that. I started these on Thursday, I believe. Thursday the 5th. This is Barocco Comfort Sock. This is colorway 1832. And I'll talk about these again in acquisitions of like where I got them and stuff. So super soft, 100% acrylic yarn. They go through the washer and dryer fine, which is a plus. So yeah, just my normal vanilla sock, same thing. Long tail cast on, 64 stitches, 2x2 rib. I don't do the knit all the way around when the color changes. I just go, it doesn't bother me. 50 round leg, slip stitch, heel flap and gusset, and I'm on the gusset decreases now. So that is that super simple sock. That is all active whips and stuff like that. I do have a future cast on, which I think I talked about a while ago, and I've already kind of mentioned it, is I've got another baby blanket for a nephew that is due in early March, possibly late February. He may come early because he's measuring pretty big. And so I'm kind of debating on the pattern of that still. I was going to do the Little Mitered Stripes blanket, and I think that's another one by Purl Soho, and it's free. I'm gonna do these in the Grand Canyon and Redwood colorways from Lion Brand Heartland. But I also, so I tested out that pattern with some, like as a dishcloth, which is what I did for the half and half wrap pattern. Worked out great because I worked out all the kinks without having to do a big blanket and rip it out because I didn't like it. So I'm not quite sure about the Little Mitered Stripes blanket because of that dishcloth, how that dishcloth turned out. Which I didn't bring that out here. It'll be fine. I'm probably gonna rip that out too. But I think I'm gonna do the Baby Brioche blanket, which is another, or Brioche Baby blanket, which is another free pattern. It's a free Ravelry download, and it's literally just you cast on and do brioche and cast off. And I think that'll be cute. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I do have a couple of acquisitions. So I bought 3 of those Barocco Comfort sock from my local yarn store, Knit Unto Others, in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. So I bought the one for the gift socks, and then the one that I just showed you, and then I have one more in here somewhere. This one. And this one is color 1810. So it's got some greens and purples. I like that. And then I got a couple of gifts. I got some wool wash from the Soapy U on Etsy. I'll try and find it and link it. This one is vanilla cashmere. And then I got one more patchouli linen. Excited for those. Can always use some wool wash. Then I also wanted to show off my Ruby and Roses Advent. I did not knit this, but I did open it up every day. Let's see. So I kind of strung it in order on some yarn, waste yarn. And it's a great way to see everything. Let's see if I can spread it out enough. I am not quite sure what I want to knit with this yet. I know I want a sweater or a cardigan. This is on her soft rose base. You still aren't seeing quite everything, but I love this. I definitely want it in a sweater. I might switch around the order on a couple things. Well, let's see. I might switch around the order on a couple of them, but that is gorgeous. See if I can turn it around, and then you can see the ones that aren't popping through on the other side. So gorgeous. If you have any pattern suggestions, definitely put them in the comments. I know, so I obviously mention them a lot. Maddie and Kristen from We Share Needles are each have started an Advent sweater. Maddie is doing the Garter Marlar or cardigan by Stephen West, and I think that's definitely an option. I love wearing my Like a Cloud cardigan and wear it quite often, and so I think that would be a great idea. Kind of waiting to see how hers turned out before I start mine. And then Kristen is doing a whatever sweater, and both of them are holding the yarn together, so 2 strands of it, or 2 strands of fingering together. So I'm kind of waiting to see how theirs turn out and then decide from there. I do like the idea of holding it double because this is like 4 skeins of yarn. 24 times 20 is 480. So it's close to 5 skeins of yarn of fingering. And I only need like 2.5 skeins for my sizes. So I'm thinking of holding it double. We'll be able to use all of it. So yeah, I'm really just rambling at this point. Which all my podcasts are, is rambling. Oh well, I enjoy it. It's my brain dump of all my yarn, so my husband doesn't have to hear it all the time. Yeah, tell me what you think I should knit this, what sweater I should knit this out of. It's heavy, it's a lot of yarn, and it's gorgeous. And I like holding it. I did this right before we came out because I had still kept them in their bags to keep them in order. But I like this because I'll be able to see it and visualize the sweater a little easier when I start looking for patterns. The 25th day of yarn is this skein from Ruby and Roses, and it's called Twinkling Lights. It's gorgeous as well. It's pretty short because she shoved it in the bag like this. But oh, it's gorgeous. I have a lot of single skeins from Ruby and Rose's yarn that I need to make plans for. I did spend some time making plans for some of my stash, but I don't know if I'm going to talk about that in this video. I think I want to take some time to talk about what I knit in 2022, because I did write out a list, and maybe I'll insert pictures. We'll see. Oh, one more acquisition. I also got Brioche Knitting for Beginners and Beyond, the book by Leslie Ann Robinson. I have kind of just flipped through it. There's a couple things I would love to knit out of this. I think I'm going to knit the Mist Tee, which is a brioche bottom and then garter at the top. I think I would love that. I do have 2 skeins of tattered pages left over from Addie's wedding shawl that I would use as the main color in this, and then I need to get a contrasting color. But we'll see. Yeah, so that's one that I would love to knit. There's a couple more. This is Afterglow. That one's gorgeous, and I love brioche. I just love knitting brioche, which is why I'm thinking of doing that baby blanket in all brioche. There was one more. That is one of the more complicated ones. I think I would just do this in 2 colors though, instead of multiple like this. This is Coffee and Jewels, another sweater pattern. I think that would be so much fun. So those are some options that I can think about yarn wise for the new year for a project. Oh, this was another one. This is Striking and Dynamic. So there, right there's the pattern name. So Striking and Dynamic. Yeah, just some more patterns that I have to choose from that I don't have to purchase. Okay, so what I knit in 2022. I knit a total, oh man, I didn't put a total of 17, 18, 19, 20, 27, 29. So a total of 32 projects. When I sorted it by year in Ravelry. I knit 17 pairs of socks, mostly vanilla. I think only one of those was patterned, and that was the Ring of Hearts by Maddie of We Share Needles. I knit 1 cowl, which I knit for my sister up in New York with my leftovers from my 2021 Stephen West mystery knit along, because I still haven't touched the 22 one, Twists and Turns. Yeah, not doing that one. I knit 2 Musselburgh hats. I knit 3 newborn hats, which I counted as one project because they were so small. I knit 6 different sweaters this year. I knit the Faded Ocean Toddler Flax Light. I might insert pictures. We'll see how hard it is. But I have also showed off all of these throughout my this year's podcast. I knit the Souffle Tee by Penrose Knits, the Toddler Flax Light. Flax Light is a pattern by Tin Can Knits, and that is free. So the Souffle Tee is by Laura of Penrose Knits. I knit as a test knit the Seaside Holiday Tee by Winsey North. I knit the Newspaper Pullover by Hoagie Locatelli. That is by far my favorite sweater. I've worn that one the most. Absolutely love it. And I might knit myself another one. We'll see. I have all these plans of what I want to knit, and I don't have enough time. I knit the boxy chevron sweater, and that was the sweater for the Arkansas yarn crawl in 2022. And then I knit the Salem sweater. It's another one of my favorites, and that one is by Tristan Molina of Dragon Horde Yarn. I knit 4 shawls this year. I knit the Honey, I Shrunk the Stash by Leslie Ann Robinson, who is the writer of that book that I just showed. And that was all out of scraps. I knit the Christmas Sampler shawl, which was a test knit for Addie of Ruby and Rose's yarn. I knit my Find Your Fade Advent, which I just showed you earlier. And then I knit a Find Your Fade in all of one color for Addie of Ruby and Rose's yarn. And that was her wedding shawl. She did post a picture in her stories on Snapchat, and I saw it there. She hasn't had a chance to share it, which I don't blame her. It's weddings and all that stuff is super busy time. Social media is on the back burner. I'm sure we'll see pictures later. And then the baby blanket that I showed, and then I did quite a bit of dishcloths, which I showed in one of my vlogmases towards the end, the one where I did the yarn stash. So it was like the 20-minute long video. And then I did a soap sack, out of the dishy, which kind of lump in together with dishcloths. And I don't know what I ended up doing with that, but it wasn't my favorite. Me and my husband didn't like it after using it, so I don't know where it's at. But yeah, that is all that I knit in 2022. 34 projects. I think that's pretty good considering I had my son as an infant, or had him in January. Next week is his birthday. So it was a year of figuring out how life with 2 kids and an infant who is and was attached to his mama and wanting her to hold him constantly, and you can't knit while you hold a baby. So it was a good year. This year in 2023, I am hoping to knit through some of my stash, as everybody says and has been saying. I've got project plans and a couple of sweaters that I want to knit. I know I want to knit the Rose Cardigan by Andrea Mowry with yarn that I purchased at DFW. I want to knit the Outline Raglan. Either the Raglan or the Teague, but I think I'm going to do the Raglan by Jessie May Designs. And that is the sweater for the Arkansas Yarn Crawl this year. And I've got yarn I purchased at DFW for that. And then just some socks and other projects that I have planned with my single skeins, and figuring out what to do with more of my single skeins. What else do we talk about? I think that's really it. Oh, I do have, with my leftovers from my Find Your Fade Fiber Fox Advent, that's a lot of F's, I have 160 grams total left, and I don't know what I want to do with it. That's not enough for a sweater. I could do the yoke of a sweater, I guess, and then like finish out in a different color. But I also looked at the what is it, the Slanty Stripes tank by Emily Curtis. She's got a YouTube podcast, Gently Chaotic Knits. And so it's an color work intarsia sweater, but I would not do color work intarsia. I would just knit it in the round with the fade is what I would do. And I don't think I would like actually fade it, like do 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 of the different colors. I think I'd just knit until one color was out and switch, because those colors fade enough that I don't need that. But I think I'm just shy of how much yarn I need for that sweater or that tank top in my size. So I'm just gonna sit on it for a little bit and decide what I want to do with that. I don't want another shawl because I have this shawl. That's too much yarn. I could do 2 pairs of socks out of it. I could do a Musselburgh out of it. That'd be interesting. But 160 grams is too much that's too long of a Musselburgh. Which I guess, I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you think of those leftovers, because I definitely want to use them all up in one more project. I don't want to split them up, because there's like 4 grams of each top thing, 4 to 6. Some of them may have 9, but like 4 to 6 grams of each color left. I guess that's it, really. I'm just sitting here talking to the camera now. This cat's snoozing next to me, so I'll probably leave this chair here for him to keep snoozing when I get up. I hope everybody has had a great new year and that you finish up your Advent projects. And yeah, I guess that's it. I will talk to y'all maybe in a couple weeks, maybe in a month. We'll see how this goes. Bye.